I'd like to shift the agenda a little bit and invite Ryan Chen from the Chinese Canadian National Council for Social Justice to speak next. So CCNCSJ was formed in 2019. It was a revival of the original Chinese Canadian National Council, which was formed in 1979 after racist TV episodes on a program called Campus Giveaway that falsely depicted Chinese Canadian students in universities as foreigners, so Canadians depicted as foreigners. This led to national widespread protests and an apology from CTV, and this is 50 years ago, and it's ongoing. The particularities of representation we'll hear more from Eliminate Hate. But Ryan is a social advocate who has a legal background from the University of Toronto. He's committed to this work of affecting social change, and he also serves on the board of directors at the Federation of Asian Canadian Lawyers, and acts as a consultant for many organizations, particularly on how to overcome racial discrimination and hatred. So Ryan, thank you so much for being with us today, all the way from Toronto, so appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, and I do apologize for asking for the switch, and I do apologize if this is not as polished as I would like, because I am switching things around, because I wanted to take a moment to address Tlaib, Jenny, and the Minister Mendicino, because I think that at this point we need to talk more about action and concrete steps. You know, at this point, I think that awareness towards anti-Asian hate is at an all-time high. We got a huge amount of positive responses from the videos, for example, that we produced that you saw at the beginning of the session. And you know, we've heard about it in the news, in the media, a lot of op-eds. But despite all of that, we see that anti-Asian hate is still on the rise. In 2021, the statistics indicate that we're actually up 50%. Toronto police suggest is 22%. And all in all, we understand that hate crimes remain to be severely underreported. So at this point, we have to talk about next steps. And really, the only concrete thing that is on the table at the moment is the issue of online hate, in terms of tackling it at its core. You know, we can talk about hate crimes and Toronto and police all we want, but at the end of the day, these are just addressing symptoms of a much deeper problem. So when it comes to online hate, we've heard a lot of things. We've heard about how we have to address it, how there's a lot of misinformation. Jenny, who is a personal hero of mine, mentioned that you asked why is there so much angst? Why is there so many problems online? Truth be told, we already know the answer to a lot of these questions. We know that it is the social media platforms that are the ones that are stirring up hate, that are allowing it to be spread, that are actively promoting it at times, and allowing individuals to skirt the rules or allow their content to be spread despite violating community standards. So the truth is, we already know how to tackle the problem, and it's with regulating social media companies themselves. And so the problem with this is that we have all these bills, we have all these conversations, and they keep dying at the table. We don't have open conversations about why certain legislation is positive, why certain legislation still has problems. And the truth is because the conversations are closed. They are not open to the public. They are in back rooms. They are not followed up on. Then they become reports that sit on a table that is never read again. You know, I myself have been on a lot of these conversations, and truth be told, I haven't been doing issues of race and racism. I haven't been in this field for very long. In fact, I graduated law school less than a year ago. But I've been doing these consultations for 3 years now, and naive as it may be, I thought that something would have been done by now, because we had concrete steps, concrete legislation that was ready to go for months, if not years. And last minute changes, such as adding sweeping police powers, this I'd like to speak, at some point address it. And I hope, Minister Mendicino at some point gets to hear this. But, sweeping police powers, idea of like terrorism language being thrown into bills, these are the kinds of actions that tear down legislation because it builds distrust within the community towards what the government's intentions are. There is not open dialogue, there is not modern ways of engaging the community, such that a TikTok video with misinformation from a popular streamer or YouTuber or TikToker can tear down legislation, even though it's entirely untrue, has no fact checking whatsoever. And so the government needs to take concrete steps, and it needs to get with the times. It needs to understand that we are no longer in a situation where you can have a 30-minute speech and be able to clarify all of the issues with respect to a topic as complicated as online hate. We have to be able to actually sit at the table to have open conversations, and people need to be accountable to what they say. We cannot just have sweeping statements about free speech, generally without any specifics. We cannot say that social media companies are trying their hardest. There is no way to combat online hate without any real statistics, without real evidence that they are actually trying to do something. And so that, ultimately falls to the job of the politicians to keep us all honest, to keep us all accountable, because we cannot continue to have all of these conversations without actually understanding where they're going, what concrete steps will happen if we continue to have these talks. So that's kind of a bit of a tangent to what I planned on speaking about, but I do want to leave it at that, because I think that the time for discussions about what, raising awareness about policing, these are conversations that we have to have for later times, because we are already at a very crucial juncture. And if we continue to just talk about it and continue to just not have any concrete action, I fear that we're going to talk about this forever. And so I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. I can sense and share both the frustrations and hope that you have within you, because we have the same. A lot of the solutions have been analyzed to death. It's known what needs to happen from many different angles. And I think one of the good things is this event, everyone on here understands that, moving from just awareness to action. Even though awareness is still important, because believe it or not, there are still many people who don't even believe racism is real. Whether it's Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, anti-Asian hate, for a lot of folks, they still don't understand it. And many of the people who need to hear the most about it are those who are siloed from understanding. With the idea of next steps, with the idea of tangible actions, you're absolutely right. The government, as our representatives, they have a responsibility to fight for this and to fight for real positive change without making it overly complicated or unnecessarily burdensome. And many of the allies on this call today are committed to that. And it's our job as citizens to hold them accountable to that. So thank you very much, Ryan, for sharing that. Again, always a pleasure, because you have a perspective that many people might not have. You have, that youthful perspective, you have a legal perspective, and you have the perspective as a person who himself has faced racism and discrimination. Thank you again for joining us today, Ryan. Really appreciate it.